through Christ our Lord. Amen. As most of you know, I think, my lovely mother, who appeared near the end of the service last week, had a stroke Sunday night. But it's very clear to me that you all have gotten to her. Because, among other things, I was showing her pictures to try to mitigate her confusion. And one of the pictures was a picture of her wedding day to my father. And there she is, a lovely bride in white satin, flanked by her parents. And so I gave it to her and pointed to the figure on her left, the male figure, and I said, "And who is this?" And she said, "Father." And I went, "Yes." And then she pointed to herself and said, "Son." And then she pointed to her mother on this side and said, "And Holy Ghost." The Trinity is with this lady. We cannot, nothing can expunge it. So I just, every time now I hear Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, I will see my mother and her parents. More about the stroke later. I have two very brief thoughts about this Old Testament passage, which begins, let me remind you. Jacob left Beersheba and went toward Haran. He came to a certain place and stayed there for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones for the place, he put it under his head and lay down in that place. And he dreamed that there was a ladder set up upon the earth, the top of it reaching to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. My two thoughts concern, first, Joseph's campsite, and second, Jacob's ladder. Jacob's ladder. Thank you. And Jacob's ladder is the second one. But first, somebody tell me about Jacob. He has an incredible dream, a reward for wonderful, pious behavior? No! Tell me about Jacob. Somebody.
He stole the birthright.
Yeah, he's a jerk. David is clearly a jerk. He's a con man. He's a baby Bernie Madoff, right? He's a swindler. He has stolen his brother's inheritance, his birthright, and now he's on the lam. He's had to skip town so that Esau couldn't kill him, which is what he has in mind. So, Jacob is a fugitive, and not a heroic fugitive. This is not the movie in which you're all in favor of the good guy who's become a fugitive. This is a bad guy who's become a fugitive. Okay? And the story says that this guy, Jacob, has stopped at a place. Now, and he's only stopped there because the sun went down and he's exhausted. What strikes me as the Bible doesn't just say he flopped down, right? The Bible says he encountered a certain place. Now, it was nowhere, but I've been thinking about that certain place. And I'm thinking that in a way, at least today, I have something in common with Jacob. Now, I'm not a jerk, or an obvious jerk. Although every time we say the prayer, God who knows the secrets of our hearts. I sort of cringe a little. Like in the song, you can't get away from God, He knows it all. I find it hard to stand up too straight. But I'm not Jacob. But I, too, have found myself in a certain place this week. It's a place in between. Jacob has left what he knows, but he hasn't arrived at another place, and he has no idea of what next. He's in this funny place, being suspended between two realities, between Beersheba and Haran. It's a certain place. And in that certain place, Jacob is able to dream. He's no longer occupied by his fixing, his conniving, his ministering, his serving, his work. He's away from all that. And so he is able, as he is suspended, he is able to dream. I've been suspended this week between the known, my mother, and the unknown, her future. And it hasn't felt like nowhere. It's felt like a certain place. A place where I'm finally available to dream, to listen, to see God. And what has come out of it? And this is amazing to me, and I keep consulting myself about it. It's not despair or even sorrow. It's peace. It's peace. And it's a sense that I can trust God. I can dream. I can imagine an alternate reality to the one I'm in the midst of. And that's what God does. Remind us that the world is full of possibilities. And that it's not about the same old, same old, same old. So that's the campsite. That's the certain place. The other thing is the ladder. First of all, despite the song we're going to sing soon, it's not Jacob's ladder, right? It's not Jacob's ladder at all. It's God's ladder. Secondly, despite the hymn we just sung, Jacob isn't going up, and neither are we. Jacob never goes up the ladder. And as lovely, earnest people, jerks or not, we're not invited up that ladder in this story. It's God's ladder. And it's a ladder that comes down from heaven to earth. Now, does that remind you of anything? Somebody, I was going to say one of my friends, but I'm not sure it was a friend, in the last few days had reminded me that we are 155 days from Christmas. Which doesn't bring great joy to everybody, I know. What it means is we're a little over halfway there. Don't pout. That means to me it's time for a prequel. It's time for a Christmas prequel. And that's what we have here. Jacob's ladder comes down from heaven to earth. It connects the two. It says, you know, we're not just scrambling down here on our own, just muddling around. Nor is heaven this separate realm where the gods live. It says heaven and earth are connected to one another. And in this story, heaven comes down to earth. Rather like what happens at Christmas, when heaven comes down to earth. And in both stories, God says, I am with you. In this story, God says to Jacob, I am with you, you nerdy crook. I am with you. This is a dream that everybody can agree Jacob does not deserve. Right?
Right.
It's a great dream. My mother used to always say, usually when we did something bad or the air conditioning went out, she'd say things like, what did I do to deserve this? Meaning, I don't remember being bad. Well, that's poor theology, right? It's not about what we deserve. If Jacob got what he deserved, it would be the nightmare of all time. But he doesn't have a nightmare. He has a dream of God that says three things. I am with you. I will protect you. And I will bring you home. I'm with you. I will protect you. And I will bring you home. That's gospel. We might know it as Christmas. But here, in the middle of a hot, muggy summer, we have a prequel of heaven coming down to a bunch of jerks and saying, I am with you, Emmanuel. I will protect you, and I will bring you home.